Good morning. This is Rachel from Infused Meadows, and I do a little bit of everything because everything I do is basically from scratch. I enjoy it, and I thought, why not start to share some of the stuff that I do in my home? Because who knows, somebody out there might find it and say, you know what, I didn't know that. That's useful for me. And some are going to say that's not useful for me. It is what it is, and the whole point is to help who I can. Especially my children, if they ever go to looking for recipes. My daughter now calls me all the time. Hey, Mama, how do you make? So now I can say, hey, Daphne, daughter of mine, it's on a video for you and for anybody else that needs it. Okay, so today I'm making tzatziki, also known as cucumber dip. Now, I have learned through the ways of the internet that we all make those of us that make it do tend to make it a little different. So you might find my recipe to be different than one you've seen. And that's the glory of all of us people. Everybody makes something different. If there is an ingredient in this that you don't like, I don't know, salt, omit it. You do you. Make what works for you. So what I've done is I have this little lovely gadget, which is just a small chopper. You're going to add 3 cloves of garlic. Take the skin off, and I personally cut this little head off. I don't like the toughness of it. So that's just me. You're just going to cut, just this little tip, not that much off. Peel it, put it in here. I do 3 cloves of garlic. I like garlic. If you don't, then maybe try 1 or 2, but you still need to blend it with the oil. Oil of your choice. A lot of people use olive oil. My husband and I tend to get heartburn from olive oil. I don't know why. I can't explain it. It is what it is. So I use just unflavored oil. Okay? You can do the same. And you just want to, until it is nice and blended. And that's all you're doing. If you like it a little chunkier, you go right ahead. But you need it blended. So, for this recipe, I'll go ahead and tell you what you're going to need. You need 1 whole cucumber. I use the English cucumbers. I just find them better for this particular recipe. You also need 1 1/4 cup of yogurt. Now, some people use Greek yogurt. I personally do not. That's just my preference. But you do want a plain yogurt. So whether you want just regular plain or Greek yogurt plain, just make sure it's plain because you're going to be adding some flavorings to this. And you don't want it to come out tasting like vanilla when you were hoping for cucumber dip or tzatziki. So keep that in mind. So, like I said, 1 1/4 cup of yogurt. You want some dill. Now, if you have fresh dill, which I do not, it's basically fall. My garden is not putting out right now, so none of my dill is going. But long story short, so if you have dill, you want to use about 1/4 of a bunch of dill. I personally dehydrate mine from the garden. This is one of the jars I'm working. And so if you're using dried dill, you want to use 1 teaspoon and a tablespoon. Sorry. You're going to use a tablespoon and then taste it. You might want about a teaspoon more. I personally do 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon. And sadly, you won't be able to actually, you won't be able to taste the dill, whether it's helping you or not, for about an hour after it's set. You're also going to need salt. Doesn't matter which salt you use. You're going to start with a 1/2 teaspoon, and then the same thing. You're going to taste it and work it to where you want it. You're also going to need some lemon juice. Now, if you've got fresh, great. If you don't, this works too. So you're going to I apologize. You're going to do 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Some people use vinegar. I've just found that the lemon juice more suits my husband and I's flavors, our palate, if you will. And so you should have your garlic. And we're going to grate this cucumber. That's what this is for. So I'm going to grate this cucumber into this, and then I'm going to put my salt onto that cucumber, and I'm going to let that set for about 10 minutes so that the salt gets into the cucumber and it will help it release a lot of the juices. And then I'm going to squeeze all that juice out. So make sure that you peel the cucumber. Don't use the skins. So I apologize for the lighting. This is all blended up, or grated, if you will. See if I can tip you instead of it. Okay, so to this, I'm going to add my 1 tablespoon of salt. Sorry, that's not right. Half teaspoon of salt. It's been one of those mornings. Okay, so you want to just sprinkle your salt over this. Now you will be adding more to your yogurt blend when we get to that, but for the right now, it is to this, and we're going to add our tablespoon of our lemon juice. So just pour that into your measuring spoon, and then you're just going to pour it over that and set that down. So all you're going to do is I just give it just a gentle little stir so it's all setting in its own liquid, the salt, and our lemon juice. Now, like I said, if you don't want to use lemon juice, you can use regular vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar. Whichever one tickles your taste palate. Okay? So I'm going to let this set for about 10 minutes just to let this do its job. And then I'll come back. So our cucumber is set for about 10 minutes. Maybe 10 and a half. I did have to go do something. If you have the same one, take the lid off. I have this handy dandy and a bowl. So you're just going to put it into your cheesecloth, or if you have one of these, just put it in there. And you're going to let this drain off completely. Use your spoon, try squeezing some of that juice out, because you don't want to add too much moisture to your tzatziki. I mean, you already have yogurt. You don't want a wet yogurt, very runny yogurt. I don't think anybody likes that, so yeah. So, like I said, let that drain, and then once it's good and drained, now this will take a few minutes, but I'm going to be pressing mine to try to help it move along, okay? Okay, so after pressing out almost all of the liquid, it's cucumber. There's always going to be a little. I mean, you could probably hang this in your refrigerator overnight to get every bit of it out, but I'm not that extreme. So you can see that whole cucumber come down to, I don't know, about 1/3 cup, I guess. Anyway, so that's drained out. I'm sure you can see I've got a nice bowl of salt, lemon, and cucumber juice, which you can drink. You can use it if you want to. Up to you. I mean, it's cucumber after all. It's good for you. So we're going to put our yogurt into our bowl. I use homemade yogurt, but it doesn't matter, just as long as you like it and it's unflavored. So I feel like some things shouldn't have to be said. And the same way that, I didn't film or record, whatever word you'd like to use there, me pressing the cucumber, because why? You should know how to do that. And if you don't, hey, leave a comment. I'll do a video just showing you it draining and me barely pressing on it. So I really want to just teach people that don't know how to do anything in the kitchen, or maybe they only know the basics and they want to step up their game but not quite sure how. And there's a lot of channels out there, I know that, but you know what, some of them they go straight to expert. And when I was teaching my children, a way around a kitchen, my son and my daughter, we started with everything, literally from chopping to sauteing, to making lasagna. And if there's one thing I can tell you this world has taught me, it's that everybody has a different taste palette, and you will change things as you go. But here's the thing. You just pick what works for you. If you don't like a seasoning somebody uses, change it. Change it and make it yours. That's the glory of cooking and baking and creating in a kitchen. It's fun, and don't get stressed out. Okay, so we have our yogurt here. I'm now going to put this in. And it goes, as you saw. I'm going to move that right there and put that there. We want to add, this is our garlic, if you remember from earlier. Oh, I say earlier, the magic of the pause button I don't know that I will edit. As of right now, I don't plan to edit anything because, you know, crap happens in the kitchen. Let's not lie. 1 minute everything's all hunky-dory and the next thing you know, I don't know. Your kids run through, your dog runs through, your cat. Oh, goodness, cats. Anywho, so there's our garlic. And so I'm going to lay that right like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to add our ½ teaspoon of salt. Remember I told you earlier we would add more salt. So this is a ½ teaspoon going in. Now I'm using pink Himalayan. It's what was on sale. So you use whatever salt you want. Now we're going to use a tablespoon. Now this is my home dehydrated deal. So everything I have is pretty much, I grow it, I dehydrate it. That way my garden, my time does not go to waste. So we've got a tablespoon. And if you remember, this is a ½ teaspoon. So I'm going to do 2 of this to get us that 1 teaspoon. So that's 1 and 2. There we go. There we go. All you want to do now is just mix this up. You're going to start. Now, some people, I will tell you this, they like theirs chunky. I don't. I don't like a chunky tzatziki. Some people will just dice that cucumber up and throw it in there. I'm not doing that. I don't particularly care for biting into chunk cucumber. And I find that this way has a much smoother taste and texture. And it goes on to, like, if you want to make, I don't know, chicken strip subs with cucumber dip. This is going to go on there and it's going to just be beautiful going across that bun or that pita bread, whatever you're using. Or if you want it on the side to dip your sandwich in or to dip your fries in. I mean, I personally love tzatziki. It's one of my favorite sauces, dips, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to stir this in. Take a spoon. Taste it. I don't need to add any more salt. I think that is perfect. So, what you're going to do now, I like to go around the bowl, press this down. Of course, give it another little stir or 3. Yeah, sorry for the silence, but so once you get that nice and smooth, I'll show you what to do. Okay, you are going to take yourself some saran wrap. Some people call it plastic wrap or cling film, whatever you like. Anyway, what I personally do is I push it down onto my tzatziki. I try to leave as little air in there as possible. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can just throw it across your bowl, or if your bowl has a lid, use the lid. I do this because, you know, you've added salt to your yogurt. Yogurt is dairy. It's a cultured dairy. So salt, it might create a little whey. This is to just try to help cut that down just a little. Maybe an old wives' tale. I don't know. But so far, I don't have any problems with whey until like day 2 or 3. This will keep in your refrigerator for at least 3 days. I know, because that's how long it's kept in mine. I generally do not keep it past 3 days because we've eaten it. You make whatever you like with your tzatziki, and I hope you enjoy this. I hope this recipe works out very well for you and, well, you and your family. All right. You have a wonderful day.